Hello, Hour of Code student. Today we're going to be going over the intermediate level elementary challenges. So the first challenge we have here is Hello World. Using the input command, create a program that first prints Hello World, then asks for an input from the user, and finally prints out Hello input. So as you can see here, we have 3 steps. We will print Hello World, then ask for an input, and finally print out Hello input. We'll be using Replit for these demonstrations. Replit is a great website to practice coding. You have many different coding languages that you can use. You have Python, Java, C++. In this case, our hour of code is going to be mainly Python. I'm not sure what everyone else is doing, but for the challenges that I've created here, they're going to be in Python. So right here, let's get an introduction here. Intermediate elementary 1. This helps me as a programmer to understand basically what this is. So we can have the name of the challenge. We can call it Hello World. And we can also have a description. But we're just going to skip that here because that's essentially here. But for longer programs, we can have a description just so anyone who wants to read through the program is going to understand immediately what the program does. So we have other comments right here, and these are known as pseudocode. Pseudo, the prefix, means fake, so that means that this word means fake code. And it sounds kind of negative, but sometimes it hurts to hear the truth. The truth hurts. Wow, I butchered that. Okay, so right here we have displays hello world. This is going to allow you to understand what the code is going to do. Again, pseudocode. So we have print. We're going to be using the print command. And the print command is going to print whatever is inside the brackets, parentheses here. We have hello world. And if you press run, it's going to print out hello world. Make sure you have these quotes here. That's going to allow the program to understand that this is a data type, a string. So a string is going to be a list of characters, kind of like text. If you do not have the quotes, the program is going to look for what hello is defined as in a variable. So a variable is just anything, it's just an unknown that you can define with a data type. So it can be a string, it could be an integer, so 12, and a float. I'm not sure if we're going to be using this at any point, but it's basically an integer, but like a quirky integer. It has a decimal. But right here, if we don't have quotes, it's going to be looking for the definition of hello and world exclamation mark. But if we have the quotes in there, it's just going to be a data type. It knows what to do with data types, but it does not know what to do with undefined or unknown variables. So we have print hello world. Then we're going to create a variable. We're going to call it name because we're going to be using the input command to show a prompt. So this is going to be displayed to the user. What is your name? So if we click run, it's going to show what is your name. Again, make sure that you have something that is defined in here. You can put an integer in here. It's just going to print the integer. But as you can see here, the program's still running. It's asking you to stop or finish the program. So we're going to type in my name, Charlie. And as you can see, nothing happens. Now, why does that happen? Well, we don't have anything that uses the variable. We haven't printed out this variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to print out, display, hello input exclamation mark. So again, make sure you have quotes to show that it's a string, which is a data type, list of characters, also text, just for review. We're going to type in hello. And if you looked in the tips, we have hello, comma, world. This is going to add these strings together, just attach these strings together. but also the comma, when you use a comma, is going to automatically put a space in between them. Make sure that you have the individual quotes from each of them. Otherwise, it's going to get confused. It might look for the definition of hello or world. And we also have the addition symbol. This is just going to directly attach the two strings together. So this is kind of like coding math, I guess. You can add the strings together and you have two main ways. You have the comma and you also have the addition symbol. So here we have hello, comma. Make sure that you have the name outside of quotes, because if it is in quotes, it's going to think that is a data type and just name. So it's just going to output hello name, as we can show here. Hello name. So make sure that you have it out of quotes so it knows that it is a variable, that it will look for what name is equal to and not just directly print name. And we're going to immediately add an exclamation mark, or exclamation point. This is going to be your completely just attached, right? Attached like glue, you know? Has anyone had the analogy of like addition, kind of just like attaching things like glue? I mean, it's probably not the best analogy because you won't be just attaching the numbers. You kind of have to add them. But in this case, if you're going to be adding the strings, right, you're going to be attaching them. You're not going to be adding them. I mean, I'm not sure how you would, but yeah. So this is going to have the final result. Whatever input you have is going to be printed out. You have hello, you have the space, and then you have the input and exclamation mark right after. You can also, again, there are many different ways to complete this challenge, and which is quite interesting in code because there's so many different ways to get the same result. We usually aim for the most efficient way. And really the addition sign and the comma, they're generally like relatively the same amount of time to type out. But for more complicated programs, we'll look into that. So we have hello, and we have a space, and then we just add them together. That's going to do the same thing as just adding a comma. But you cannot add a comma between name and the exclamation mark because that's going to add a space right after the name. We can show that right here. Oh, and also I'm adding like the commas right next to the string or variable. You don't have to do that. It's just grammar. So as you can see, there's a space. So you can really think about this like math. If you have 3 plus 5, we know that is 8. If we do not have anything between them, we will not know what to do with them. So that's basically, if you don't have a comma here, it's going to have a syntax error, as you can see there. So make sure you do have grammar, syntax. Grammar is important. And so we do need an addition symbol here. But also, we're going to understand that if you have spaces in between, you still know it's 3 plus 5. It's not going to be written this way, right? I mean, people can be quite like messy, I guess, and leave a huge space after 5, but we know that it's still going to be 3 plus 5. And that's the same case here. So you do not have to put the addition symbol or comma right next to it. Personally, it looks better, to me at least, but you don't have to. And so that's just about it. So we have print hello world, prints whatever is inside, name input, what is your name? The input is basically a print command, but it also expects the user to have an input before it goes onto the print below it. And then this is going to print out hello plus, so then you have a space in between with a name, which is going to be the input. And make sure that you know that the input is always going to return or give a string. So the name is always going to be equal to string here, plus an exclamation mark. So that's going to immediately attach it. So let's run this again. This should be your result. Well, not with my name. You can type in your name, you can type in someone else's name. You can type in anything really. But it should be hello, whatever you have here, and then an exclamation mark. If you got through all of this, great job. And I hope you have an amazing journey through the hour of code. And also have an amazing day.